This is what happens when we elect a guy who just isn't up for the job. Let me tell you, as somebody who has presented my fair share of arguments in court, the case against Donald Trump and Mike Pence is open and shut. Just look where they've gotten us. More than 16 million out of work. Millions of kids who cannot go back to school. A crisis of poverty, of homelessness, afflicting Black, brown, and indigenous people the most. A crisis of hunger, afflicting 1 in 5 mothers who have children that are hungry. And tragically, more than 165,000 lives that have been cut short. Many with loved ones who never got the chance to say goodbye. It didn't have to be this way. 6 years ago, in fact, we had a different health crisis. It was called Ebola. And we all remember that pandemic. But you know what happened then? Barack Obama and Joe Biden did their job. Only 2 people in the United States died. 2. That is what's called leadership. But compare that to the moment we find ourselves in now. When other countries are following the science, Trump pushed miracle cures he saw on Fox News. While other countries were flattening the curve, he said the virus would just, poof, go away, quote, like a miracle. So when other countries opened back up for business, what did we do? We had to shut down again. This virus has impacted almost every country. But there's a reason it has hit America worse than any other advanced nation. It's because of Trump's failure to take it seriously from the start. His refusal to get testing up and running. His flip-flopping on social distancing and wearing masks. His delusional belief that he knows better than the experts. All of that is reason, and the reason that an American dies of COVID-19 every 80 seconds. It's why countless businesses have had to shut their doors for good. It's why there is complete chaos over when and how to reopen our schools. Mothers and fathers are confused and uncertain and angry about childcare and the safety of their kids at school, whether they'll be in danger if they go or fall behind if they don't. Trump is also the reason millions of Americans are now unemployed. He inherited the longest economic expansion in history from Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And then, like everything else he inherited, he ran it straight into the ground. Because of Trump's failures of leadership, our economy has taken one of the biggest hits out of all the major industrialized nations, with an unemployment rate that has tripled as of today. This is what happens when we elect a guy who just isn't up for the job. Our country ends up in tatters, and so does our reputation around the world. But let's be clear, this election isn't just about defeating Donald Trump or Mike Pence. It's about building this country back better. And that's exactly what Joe and I will do.
Donald Trump has been lying about the coronavirus for 5 months, spouting conspiracy theories nonstop, and repeatedly downplaying the severity of the pandemic. Now he's filling social media and the airwaves with untruths about the economy so he can dupe his way to Election Day.
I think the recovery has been very strong. We've set record job numbers. We've set record numbers.
The recovery has been very strong, Trump said. Then, the Commerce Department reported the U.S. economy contracted between April and June at the fastest pace in nearly 3/4 of a century. which is as long as economists have been keeping track. The drop wiped out 5 years of economic growth. The comeback won't take very long, he recently reassured Americans. But every indicator shows that after a small uptick in June, the U.S. economy is tanking again. 1/3 of U.S. restaurants face permanent closure. Reservations are down. Traffic at retail stores is dwindling. More small businesses are closing. The tiny rebound in air travel is reversing. What's Trump's plan to revive the economy now? The same one he's been pushing for months. Just reopen it. He wants the public to believe the shutdown orders that began in March caused the economy to tank in the first place. So reversing them will bring the economy back. Well, that's rubbish. It was the virus that caused the downturn, and its resurgence is taking the economy down again. COVID-19 is surging because governors reopened prematurely, before the virus was under control, at Trump's repeated insistence.
You ought to get the state open, Governor. Open your state.
The sequence of cause and effect is clear. The virus has surged most in states that were among the first to reopen, such as Florida, Arizona, Texas, and much of the rest of the Sun Belt. Because of this resurgence, many states are pausing plans to reopen, and some are reimposing restrictions. But these restrictions are not the reason the economy is slowing down now. They are the necessary consequence of allowing the pandemic to spiral out of control. Even the White House's own coronavirus task force concludes that 21 states have outbreaks serious enough to justify more restrictions. The economy is cratering even though the government has pumped trillions of dollars into it. What happens when the money stops? Well, we're about to find out. Senate Republicans can't agree among themselves, let alone with House Democrats, about more funding, while Trump says we really don't care about reaching a spending agreement. Thanks to their delays, more than 30 million Americans are no longer receiving the emergency $600 federal weekly unemployment benefits. As a result, tens of millions can't make rent or mortgage payments. More will go hungry, including children. The economy will slide even further, and the human cost will be unconscionable. The White House argues that the extra unemployment benefits discouraged workers from seeking jobs because some were receiving more money in benefits than they'd earn by working. More rubbish. A study by Yale economists finds no evidence that people who have lost their jobs are choosing to stay unemployed because of the extra federal aid. The reason people are not going back to work is not because they don't want to, it's because there's hardly any work for them to go back to. 14 million more people are unemployed than there are jobs. In fact, the extra benefits have been keeping some 3 million employed because the money has gone into the pockets of people who spend it, thereby sustaining economic activity. You shrink those benefits and you put less money into consumer pockets, with the result that millions more jobs will be lost. Lies about the economy are harder to spot than lies about the coronavirus. While COVID's grim death count is painfully apparent, the economy is complicated. But Trump's economic lies are no less egregious. And just like his lies about the virus, they are causing a great deal of unnecessary suffering. Know the truth. Focus on containing COVID so we can save lives and finally get the economy back on track.
No, you're finished. Go ahead, please. Please. Thank you very much. Our vets are very special. We passed Choice, as you know, Veterans Choice and Veterans Accountability. And they've been trying to get that passed for decades and decades and decades. No, you're finished. Go ahead, please. Please. Go ahead. Okay, excuse me. Go ahead, please.
It's a false statement, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. We passed VA Choice. You go out now, you get a doctor, you fix yourself up, the doctor sends us the bill, we pay for it. And you know what? It doesn't matter because the life and the veteran is more important, but we also happen to save a lot of money doing that. Can you believe it?
few minutes, we'll take another step forward. When I sign into law the VA reform bill that was passed overwhelmingly with bipartisan majorities, and that doesn't happen often, in Congress.
They've been trying to get that passed also for about 44 years.
You remember how to sing? Well, just barely. You know, I don't get enough practice. I want more. Everybody on the committee really did good work on this, so I want to thank everybody for their leadership. Really appreciate it. It's a good piece of legislation that will help. All right? Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right. Do you solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which you're about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
I don't have to count my mind. Now you got some family out here?
Thank you. Come on, family. I got quite a crew. Yay.
Hi, what's your name?
Ella. I'm Doug's daughter.
Well, hey, Ella, how are you? You get over here.
Cole.
Hi, Cole. How are you? Good to see you.
Vice President.
Hi, Maya. How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Tony West, how are you?
Hey, Tony West. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Hey, I was like, I remember, I met you.
You rule, Mom, and I told you before when I met you. Mom's rule in my house. Hi. Good to see you. How are you?
Thank you so much.
Hey, man.
Sir, how you doing? Haven't seen you. You came and did a presentation at my Oscar show last year.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you for coming.
There's not many guys who can say my Oscar show.
How you doing, sir?
Good to see you, man.
Johnson.
Good to see you,
cousin.
pal. Cousin.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you.
Cousin. I'm
A professor at University of Maryland.
I
Oh, is
am
that
indeed
right? What do you teach?
A DC resident,
What do you teach?
literature.
Oh, right. That's my wife.
This is my mother's sister, my aunt.
Happy to
Well,
meet you.
how are you? It's
I'm
a
a fan of
pleasure to
yours
meet
from
you.
Canada.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Her husband, my
How are
aunt.
you? Well, thank you. Thank you, Kabash. Nice to see you.
My aunt who
Kamala's
traveled from
aunt.
India.
Well, welcome.
A
Come from
renowned
India all the
doctor.
way.
Well,
Just for her.
well, I tell you what, a renowned
And
doctor
just for
for a
you.
renowned public official. I tell you what, she's the best. She
know
is
that.
the very best.
I'm our uncle.
Well, hello, Uncle. How are you?
I'm quite fantastic.
Who is
You
a
are. It's great to
journalist
see you.
and a mathematician.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And an all-around
all these
troublemaker.
guys are journalists, but I don't think they can add and subtract. I don't know.
That's good for them.
I'm teasing. Good to see you.
You.
All right. Okay, now, we do it this, okay, we got it? Can you see everybody? You can't see the big guy, I'm not doing it.
Oh, look.
All right. Oh. Up top. Well, great to see you. Do you guys know what they... Oh, I'm sorry.
Mattis is reading at heart, if anybody wants Mattis.
And then extended families, if you don't.
Oh, no.
Okay, come on, everybody. Crew. Come on, extended family. My extended family is here.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you again. How are you? How are you, man? See if you can jump around the back.
Come on here, we will.
You've done this
Hey, man,
before.
good to see you. How are you? Nice to see you. How are you? Welcome.
Best friend from kindergarten. This is my best
Hey,
friend from
Stacy.
kindergarten.
You still taking care of her?
Yeah.
Hi. How are you?
I'm your mother's best friend.
Well, I tell you what, that's a lot of currency where I come from. I can see it now. Biden couldn't take it anymore.
1945, August 6th. In this area, the Nagasaki Church was standing. This is about 800 meters away from Ground Zero, hypocenter. My father was minister in this church. And at 8:15, bomb was dropped. In the church, the tower and cross, everything gone, except the wall of the church remained. About 80% of the church member passed away. Church Parsonage was located about 1.1 kilometer away from here. And that day, I was with my mother and myself, but the whole house crashed.
Reverend Tanimoto, this is Coco.
And there in front of our eyes, the city of Hiroshima disappeared.
Now, you entered something in your log at that time.
As I said before, Mr. Edwards, I wrote down later, my God, what have we done?